The fluorescent lights in the briefing room buzz like insects. A man slides a folder across the table and says your name, then corrects himself. That name is dead now. Outside, Los Angeles runs on sirens and streetlights, and you're about to disappear into it. This is your life, level by level, inside an undercover narcotics assignment. The assignment. When trust is a tool and a trap. The folder smells like copier toner and stale coffee. Inside, there's a California driver's license with a new face in your eyes, a social security card that will pass a quick glance, and a backstory that fits the cracks of 1992 Los Angeles. Your new address is a tiny place off Alvarado, close enough to MacArthur Park to explain the noise at night. You practice the name until it stops tasting foreign. You learn the target the way you learn weather. A rising crew moving cocaine and meth through South LA, leaning on stash houses, payphones, and fear. In the briefing, they talk in specifics: plate numbers, nicknames, locations like Pico Union and Florence, not theories. You carry a pager that must never ring in the wrong room. You tell yourself the paperwork is protection. You tell yourself the story will hold. You tell yourself you can wear a life like a jacket and take it off later. But the first time you sign that new name, the ink dries like a door locking behind you. Deep cover. Where every word is a test. Your days stop having clean edges. You wake up to helicopter thump and go to sleep with the taste of cigarette smoke embedded in your clothes. You drink beer at a Koreatown bar with a mirrored wall, then drive to a payphone on Sunset to call a number that's never saved. You memorize who sits where, who brings the bag, who never touches the glass with bare fingers. The routine is physical. A cheap wire rides your skin. A microcassette recorder waits in your sock. You count exits without looking like you're counting. When they talk, you don't just hear words, you hear what they're testing for. Hesitation, curiosity, the wrong kind of calm. You tell yourself you're only observing. You tell yourself the laughs are part of the cover. You tell yourself the friendships are temporary. Then someone you're supposed to watch slides you extra carne asada at 2 a.m. like you belong. And you realize trust is easiest to build when it's already costing you. The offer. Loyalty and betrayal wage an internal war. The offer doesn't come in a neat sentence. It comes in a pause. In a look passed across a kitchen table under a buzzing range hood. They've seen you keep your mouth shut. They've seen you show up on time. Now they want you closer to the money, closer to the product, closer to the decisions. They hand you a task that leaves no room for theory. Drive a car with a hidden compartment down the 110. Deliver a bag that's heavier than it should be. Stand there while someone counts bills with wet fingers and names the totals out loud: 20s, 50s, hundreds, like a prayer. You're watched the whole time. Not by one set of eyes. By all of them. You tell yourself this is access. You tell yourself this is the point. You tell yourself you'll report every detail: addresses, times, who touched what, without anyone noticing your memory working. And when they clap you on the shoulder and say you're solid, you feel the trap tighten like a tie you can't loosen in public. You've earned a seat at their table. Next, they don't ask you to watch or carry. They ask you to approve. And the price of saying no is your name, your pulse, your body. The compromise. Where approval becomes participation. You don't get asked in a clean room. You get asked leaning against a primer gray cutlass in an alley that smells like hot oil and old beer, while a guy you've known for 3 weeks pretends to pick lint from his shirt and watches your hands. They talk logistics like it's drywall. A half kilo comes in through a cousin near Wilmington. It moves to a duplex off Normandy. It sells in smaller wraps that get heat sealed on a kitchen counter next to a pile of torn grocery bags. You ride along to just look at a stash, 2 shoeboxes, a digital scale with flour dust in the corners, a .38 in a sock drawer. Then they slide you a simple question. Do you vouch for a new runner? Do you say the drop point is good? Your nod makes things happen. Your shrug delays them. You tell yourself approval isn't action. You tell yourself the case needs a higher rung. You tell yourself the paperwork back at Parker Center will turn this into charges and numbers. But the moment you say, yeah, he's solid, your badge becomes a ghost that can't stop the hands it just guided. Breaking point. When the line disappears under your feet. A Friday night turns into a long, fluorescent Saturday morning. You sit in the passenger seat, window cracked, Listening to a police scanner someone bought at a swap meet, while the driver taps the steering wheel like he's keeping time with your heartbeat. It comes fast. A buyer shows up sweaty and wrong. Someone whispers that he's a setup. Someone else says prove it. A pistol comes out not waved, produced with the bored competence of practice. You're close enough to smell Hoppy's number 9 on the metal. A question lands on you. What do you think they should do? Your wire feels like a brand. Your pager is dead weight. You run through procedure signal phrase, meet point, unit staged 2 blocks out, but you also see the reality. No entry team materializes on faith. Not in South LA, not at midnight. You tell yourself you can stall. You tell yourself you can steer them away. You tell yourself you can keep everyone breathing until uniforms arrive. And when you open your mouth, you realize the breaking point isn't the gun, it's the fact that your voice is now part of the trigger. Afterward, there's no clean way back to your old name. The city keeps moving, sirens, bus brakes, street vendors under sodium lights, while you keep inventory of what you said, what you allowed, what you couldn't stop. You can file reports. You can testify. You can watch a verdict land. But the deepest cover is the part you carry home, still listening for a pager that isn't there.